Alright, hey everybody, welcome to Inside the Mind of discdying.com. I've got a lot of requests from people asking how I do my process and why, and how many times I was dropped on my head as a kid that actually made me do this. So, one of the crazier things that I've done is actually this biohazard disc that we have here, and it's kind of got a lot of pieces on it. Underneath each of these white things is one of these orange or yellow gradient fades. There's actually some pictures on my Instagram if you want to go look at them, but I was just going to walk you through the process of what it's like to actually do this. You have to pick all these little parts off of here, and you have to line them up exactly perfectly on here with two sets of tweezers because my fingers are way too big to do this. So I use precision tip tweezers that come from Tweezer Man on Amazon. It's about $11 for a set of two. They work pretty well, I guess. A lot of people probably wouldn't like them because they have like such fine tips. It's really hard to pull big pieces. They tend to tear. But whenever you're dealing with insane little tiny stuff like this, you have to use tweezers. So I generally don't recommend it. It's a complete pain because you're seeing about what real time is on me doing this. And if you multiply each one of these little steps that I'm taking by, I think it's 672, that gives you an idea on how much time this takes. There's about 112 biohazards on the disc. Each biohazard is composed of 6 individual pieces that have to be picked off and put onto their corresponding location. I generally do 2 cuts. One for the first stencil actually goes on the disc, and I did my black outlines that you can see here. And I also, after that, I picked each little individual biohazard symbol and I ran it through a lotion bed. That was a gradient from orange to chartreuse, and that's with Quick Coat Worm Dip. And the reason that I have to go through all this stupid nonsense with these little bastard pieces is that ultimately what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get blue in these spaces, blue in the middle, faded to pink on the edge, and there is not a way that you can get those two colors right next to each other without doing a recover. There are some people out there that believe it's possible, and I really wish that they would give me that tip because I haven't found a way to do it, and I think it would just be magic because dyeing is essentially like watercolor and the colors mix on the disc. So there is not a way to start with 2 colors and end up with orange here and blue here, or yellow here and purple there. It's just, I just don't think it's possible. So yeah, this is what I've been doing for probably a total of 11 or 12 hours at this point over the course of a little more than a week. Just doing it as I have time between various tasks, because I promise you, you will literally go crazy if you were to try to sit down and do this stuff all at once. And some people may be into that, but that's not really my jam, you know? So I'm just going to put these guys here, like that. And it is pretty satisfying as you do it to see the disc like turn back to white, and then you get to dye it all over again, and then you get to weed it all over again. And there's a Facebook group that I'm on for dyers, where I will post this video. Hello everybody. And they call me the Weed Master because I'm really the only person that's dumb enough to do something like this, because it is just so time consuming and it's so tedious. It is so tedious. But see, the thing is, I've never actually seen anybody else that has done something like this. And a lot of time with my dyes, at least recently, I've tried to kind of do things that I haven't ever seen before, because I want to see them. So I don't necessarily do a lot of commissions. I really just kind of, do what I want to see because I think it might look neat. And I've had some pretty decent success with that. And this particular idea is one that I have been kicking around for probably about 3 years. Whenever I originally did a biohazard, like a full-size symbol on a disc, and I don't know, it's something I just like about it. And plus it's pretty fitting, considering that we're in the middle of a global pandemic and everything is sort of all out of whack, and as crazy as it sounds, doing silly, repetitive, completely pointless nonsense like this is actually it's pretty relaxing. Just sitting here putting all this vinyl, it's like I have complete control of what I'm doing here. And a lot of people feel like they maybe don't have control of what's going on, and it's really stressful for them, and I get that. And for any of you that are looking for a hobby, I would definitely recommend disc dyeing, because if you follow a process, you get to see a thing go from, a blank disc, of course a blank disc, because you should always wipe the stamps, but you get to see a thing go from a blank disc into something that you have created, something that's unique, something that nobody has ever done before. Even if it's the same design, every dye job is a little bit different. And one of the reasons behind that is because with stencils, you see how stretchy this vinyl is, right? If you were to go and try to recover all of this at one time with one stencil, you'll find that if you get this guy, which is the dead center of the disc, if you get that thing and have it completely centered and perfect, as you get towards the edge, it will get farther and farther out of whack. And the reason behind that is the discs are domed and the vinyl is very stretchy, so no two stencils are ever going to be exactly the same. So it gives you a chance to be creative and relieve some stress. And maybe it's not for everybody. I mean, maybe not everybody likes to use 2 pairs of tweezers to put pieces of plastic onto a bigger piece of plastic, and then put that big piece of plastic into another piece of plastic that has lotion and dye in it. But hey, everybody likes different stuff, and this is one of the things that I like doing. I mean, isn't this just terribly exciting? I mean, look at all these pieces and how fun it is whenever you get to the edge and they don't line up and you have to really work it back on there. Yeah, see? That's beautiful. Look at that. And you gotta have really nice edge work. I can't tell if the camera is focusing, but I always run mine all the way to the edge. Yeah, it's not gonna focus. Because, again, a lot of people don't do that, and I like to see it. So, might as well go through the trouble to make something unique. I mean, in the words of the very wise Ron Swanson, never half-ass 2 things, just whole-ass 1 thing. So, that's what I do. Just go whole hog on these guys and have to get all the little pieces lined up. Like even these little teeny tiny ones that barely even show up on the video. Yeah, you gotta get them lined up so that everything is covered, and whenever you run the blue over it, it doesn't, or actually at this point it will be purple. It won't turn this into brown, because whenever you mix yellow and purple, you get brown. Whenever you mix blue and orange, you get brown. And that's not good unless you're dyeing a poop emoji, in which case that is exactly what you want, and you did a great job if that's what you ended up with. So I decided to make this as my first video because this is probably among the longest that I've spent on a disc, and it's always really satisfying to see the end result whenever you cover these last pieces up. And I've never actually done a video of that before, and I don't know if anybody's actually gonna watch this, but I'm gonna try to put it on Instagram unless they have some sort of timer, which I honestly don't know. And I'm not gonna do any kind of fancy production on it because I have no idea how to do that. It's just gonna be a video of me poking plastic stuff with tweezers for about 15 minutes. And see, you guys get to come along for the best part of the ride, the very end, whenever you can see, well, at least the final result of this stage. I'm not going to have a video of the actual lotion bed, because that's pretty boring because it doesn't do anything but sit there. But let me just get these last little pieces on there, and then I'm going to give it a wash with some warm water and Dawn soap, because I've been pressing my mitts all over it, getting little oils from your hands on there. And if you get that on there, then the dye won't take, because oil will block the dye from binding with the plastic. So you always got to be sure to wash your disc really, really well, especially if you've been doing a complicated stencil like this where you have to touch it a lot. I press all these little pieces down. Even the tiny pieces that nobody ever is gonna pay attention to. Like, I could miss all of these things and nobody would notice. It would literally just be me. But the thing is, if you're gonna do it, do it. If you're gonna do it right. Go big or go home. That is the style that I prefer. You can see here, as I'm using my thumb for this teeny tiny piece, my thumb is way too big to be manipulating something this small. You gotta get it lined up just right, just like that. And look at that, we have one piece left. Well, we have 6 pieces left, but it's just one shape. So this is kind of weird with this angle. I have my camera mounted on my light, so I can't get like right over the disc, so I can't exactly see how perfectly this is lined up. You guys can post in the comments how good of a job you think I'm doing with aligning these stupid things. I think I mentioned it earlier, there's like 672 of them on here, so it's kind of a lot. I've done it a time or two. And how many pieces do you think we just did there? Like 10? Maybe 12? And that took already going on over 15 minutes at this point. But man, look at that. Getting so close. Only one left after this guy. Now would be a bad time to spill one of these bottles of lotion with dye in it that I have over here right next to the disc, because that would just be super sad. And here we have the last piece right there. All right, there we go. One recovered Explorer with a bunch of biohazards on it. This is going to go into a blue to pink lotion bed to get a gradient from the orange to yellow of the actual symbols, and it should look pretty sweet. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.